Now welcome back to lesson 8. In our project we are going to talk about JavaScript here in serving static files. So last time we talked about serving static files, where we talked about CSS, that is CSS cascading style sheets. We talked about images and links. Now this time around we are going to talk about JavaScript. This is the part that is remaining about static files. So adding some JavaScript. Before we proceed with the JavaScript, in the previous lesson we noticed that the image did not appear on all pages, as we can see. Let's open the project and see how the image appeared. So this project takes some time to load, so give it time. So now we are going to start by running server. So when you look at this syntax here, the image source, there's something that we are supposed to change here so that the image can appear on all pages or our web pages, because we want it to appear on all pages. Now run server the way we talked about previously, and then wait for the server. As it's running, you can see that it's trying to collect some code and also do some debugging so that it can come out. Now it's already there. Follow this link as usual, and this takes you to your browser. Now this is how the image appeared. When you check on page that is shop, about, contact, you are going to notice that the image does not appear. Now this is because there's something that we are supposed to change here. We usually use something called ginger format so that the images can appear on all pages. And the ginger format includes where we have those curly brackets and that percentage symbol at the start and the end of the source. So now when you put a source, then you put a static, then you put now the path in quotes, and then you'll also save the changes. When you refresh here, you are going to see now all pages have the image. Just as simple as that, the image appears on all pages. That's the changing that one. You revert to that is static. Now the image is appearing now, as you can see. So that syntax is just static, and then you quote images, stroke the name of the image, because the images are stored in the images folder. So that is it. Delete that one. That's a comment that I used to explain what you're supposed to do. Then now the syntax, we have changed it. Now we are supposed to insert something else called a block content tag in the base.html, base.html, and also in the home page as shown. Now this block content is to allow for you to be able to add other content in the other pages. That is another other content other than the one that we are fetching from base.html using extends. So those that block tag is supposed to be inserted at the center at the base.html. It's supposed to start a block content tag here and also end the block content. Supposed to put it in this manner, and then end block content. So this is where you are supposed to end block content. Now you'll notice that everything in the base.html that's supposed to appear on all pages appears outside the block content tags. So anything that will be placed here between the block content tags, that is between the block content and end block, anything inside those tags is supposed to be excluded. It's supposed to be unique for every page. For example, when you go to contact and you want to create some forms there, or the content that you're supposed to place there is supposed to be within the block content tags, but the header and the footer and also the menu is supposed to remain because it is outside the block content tags. This thing, I know some people do not get it clearly because some are complicated, but you must have these tags in all other pages where you want to add extra content. That is, you want to add extra content other than the one that you had already created, the one that appeared on all pages, the menu, the footer, and also the header. So anything that you want to place inside those other tablets is supposed to be placed within the block content. Yes, that is that is it. So we can delete this comment now after you have read it. Now let me demonstrate this one. For example, here we loaded static with also base.html, this one that displayed the page. Now if we need to add some content for this page, we are supposed to put a block content here and then end block, and then within those block tags, the block content tags, this is where we are supposed to place for example our image. Everything that we need for this page is supposed to appear there, because now the extends.base.html at the top here is fetching the page that is base.html and putting it on this page, but this page specifically needs to have some different content other than the one that we have fetched from base.html. So we have to use these tags. Now let's start by adding a div container in our home page where we will display images. That is a carousel, the slideshow. So slideshow is supposed to, now we are on home, slideshow is supposed to be within the block content, because slideshow is not going to appear on all pages. It's just going to be appearing at home page only, unless if you want it to appear on all pages, you can place it in base.html and place it outside the block content tags at the base.html. So when you place the div container here and then insert our image, just using the normal way that we have discussed here, you will notice that the image is supposed to appear. The image is supposed to appear at the home page, but when you refresh, you have the image there. There's something that is an error here. We're supposed to correct this block content. This block content, we have typed it here. Let me check again. There's no change. Now we're supposed to change this block content, because this image is not supposed to be as small as that. So this space is not supposed to be there. The space between the percentage and the block content word is not supposed to be there. Now we remove that space like that and save changes. After removing all that, you are supposed to save changes and then refresh. You'll see the image is very large now. The image is supposed to appear in this manner now, because the image is not specified the size. When you specify the width of the image, then the image is supposed to adjust to that width that you specify. For example, 100% supposed to fit exactly on the page. Then you can adjust the size of the image, the width of the image, to your desired size. Like that one, that is 10%. We also have 50%. 50% looks like this. It's a little bit bigger. You can align it to the center, left, or wherever you want it to appear. That is how you adjust the image size. Now let's get some JavaScript code from W3 Schools for slideshow so as to move faster. I will not discuss a lot of JavaScript in this tutorial. And now we'll modify the code as shown and download several images and copy them in the images folder and add them as you are going to see. So we have to go to our browser first of all to download the images that we need to use for the carousel, because the carousel is supposed to contain, or the slideshow is supposed to contain some images, and we only have a few images. We have only one image in our project, so I'm going to get some images. Let's get, for example, computers. You can have a laptop. Now just download it direct like this. I'm going to explain how to download images in high quality later. So just search and then you right click on the image, save images. We can go to desktop computer. We have it there. You can just save it. It's going to appear in poor quality, but I'll talk about how to download images in high quality later. Let's get a printer. So we have laptop, desktop, and then a printer. Save images. You're saving the images on desktop. Some of you may be saving them in download. There's no problem, because we're not going to use them from that folder where we are saving them now. We also need to go to W3 Schools slideshow, how to create a slideshow in W3 Schools. So we are getting this code here just to save time. I'm getting this code to save time. This code is supposed to help us create a slideshow faster, because the slideshow is already coded here. We are just going to modify a few code here. You can get it from anywhere you want, depending on the type of the slideshow that you want. So we have all this code here. That is the CSS for that code. We are going to get that one. We are also going to get the body, the div slideshow container. We are also going to get that one up to that point. And then lastly, we'll get the JavaScript, the script part that is enabling the pictures to play in that manner. The JavaScript is the one that puts the images in motion like that. So we are going to get all that code, but we are not going to get it into one place, because now this one, for example, is supposed to appear between the block content tags here. That is the body supposed to appear there. So you just copy and paste it there. We are going to end it because those images that are there are different from the ones that we have. But before we edit those images, we are supposed to make sure the images are placed in images folder. We only have brown BG there. So our images that we downloaded are on desktop. So we highlight all of them, select all of them. You can use control and then you select each. You click on each. You can use shift, click on one at the end. Then you cut. You don't need them at the desktop. We need them at this folder. The folder that contains image for our project is in web project, main, static, then images. This is where we paste the images. You can rename them for easier coding so that you may be able to know which is which. So we have desktop. We have this one is a printer. Then the other one is the laptop. This is the laptop. So the images already have names. Use symbol names so that you can be able. You can delete this one now. You don't need it. Use symbol names so that you can be able to code easily without struggling. So you already have the images there. When you already paste the images there, they appear here. Now you can change the image source here using the syntax that we had talked about of adding images, the curly brackets, %, and then static, and then into quotes. the image location. So the image is located in images, and the name of the image. You can start with the first one, which is choose either. You have a desktop, laptop, and all that. So you just choose which one you are going to start with. For example, on desktop dot jpg, you have to add this one because some images might be in png, so you have to add that file extension there. Then you close with a curly bracket and then percentage, close that ginger format there. Now this now means that you are going to display that image there. You can do that for the other two, the other remaining two. You can also do that to make sure they appear there. But we are going to cut all this. We are going to delete all this code and use only one div. You're not going to repeat this div. This div, my slides fade, is not supposed to be repeated. In Django, you use very little code. Remember, we said the best code is no code. So this just, I'm using it to demonstrate. I'm using this one to demonstrate how to show the images. Yes, so I'm doing this for the other two, the printer and the laptop. Just copy and edit, and paste and edit the name of the image, because the code is supposed to be just the same. So the body part is just done like that. Now we go back there, we can refresh and see we already have the image displayed here, but the images are appearing. They cannot play now because you have not inserted JavaScript. There is also no CSS. So we are going to get back to our W3 schools, and then we can now copy. You can now come here and copy the CSS so that you can style the images. Instead of them appearing on vertical, we need them to appear horizontally. So that one is done by styling, which is CSS. Copy all that code, and then you come to our project, then paste it in main.css. Just you can paste it at the top, at the bottom of the previous CSS that we had already inserted there. So this is the CSS. You can remove that font because you don't need it. You may use the font that you want, or you can actually use the font if you need it, or if you don't need it, you can just remove it. So we have all that slideshow container. You can go to home. You're going to see we have all those divs with classes. Let's format the document so that you can be able to see. The full div is a slideshow container, and that is formatted there. We have dot text. We also have dot number text, dot. We have active. We have faint. We have keyframes. We have media, and then we have body. Yeah, all that code is specifically for styling the slideshow container div, which is going to contain the slideshow. So every item in the slideshow is supposed to be styled on its own. So when you refresh here, you will see there is a change here, but now the images have disappeared. We only have dots remaining. Now the reason why they are disappearing is they are supposed to be displayed using JavaScript. So I'm going to copy this script code, exclude the script tag. In Django we are not going to use the script tag. So we come to static and then create a new file, and then we call it main.js. JavaScript is a file extension of JavaScript.js. Paste that code there and then you save changes. So this one is the code that is going to enable the images to appear and also to be able to play, because this is JavaScript. JavaScript is the one that enables the images to play. I'm not going to teach JavaScript in this tutorial, but later on I will come to JavaScript and teach, and then we shall be able to understand how this works. So just have that code there, you can type it. If you know JavaScript, you can also understand it at this point. For now, I'm not going to explain much about it. I'm just going to move faster so to be able to display the images. Now you see, still there is the images are not appearing because at the home.html we need to load JavaScript. We need to link JavaScript from the static folder. So we need to load JavaScript just the way we loaded static. For static items to appear, we need to load JavaScript, and then JavaScript we put it here at the bottom of the page, not at the top. CSS is the one that we put at the top. So you use the script tag here, and then you put the script source here. The script source is supposed to be static, just like the images. I'm going to use the static, then into quotes we are going to put there the main.js, the name of the file that contains JavaScript. Main.js, you put it in quotes, single quote. Just the syntax is the same the way we have inserted images. So when you refresh here, you are going to see now the images appear and they are playing at the speed that the JavaScript is designed to play them, just the way they were playing at the website, W3 Schools website. Now you can change that speed if you want, but that one you change it at the JavaScript. You can also style the images and reduce the size of the container. If it's so big, you may need it to be small. So let's adjust the width of the container to something like 700 pixels. Refresh this time around, you'll see now it has reduced to some extent. It's not so big. The images are not uniform, that's why you'll see some images appear to be large than the others. If you reduce to 500, you refresh, then it becomes a bit smaller. The images are poor quality, but we have said we are going to change the images later. So you can adjust that div to fit the space that you need it to fit in your home page. So now if you forgot to keep your server running, you should run it and see the results. Note my images are too large and have poor quality. Now as I've said, I'm going to teach you how to download high quality images. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and continue waiting for new lessons. Thank you.